Welcome to the Prescott Lab Podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, professor of urology, and for more than 30 years I've had the privilege of sitting across from men just like you, fathers, husbands, grandfathers, who lean forward in my office chair, drop their voices, and whisper the same heavy words. Doctor, I feel like I'm losing the very core of who I am. Gentlemen, let's speak plainly. What steals a man's strength after 60 isn't just age. It isn't nature's curse. It's the same silent enemy that causes heart attacks, clogged, hardened blood vessels. Only this time they aren't in your chest, they are in the delicate veins inside your penis. Slowly, quietly, they narrow, they choke off circulation. And one morning you wake up and realize intimacy feels distant, your energy has faded, and your confidence has slipped through your fingers. Most men respond the way the world taught them. They reach for pills, pumps, quick fixes. But deep down, they know it's not the answer. Because a pill doesn't heal the man, it doesn't restore the spark that once made you feel alive. Here's what I've learned in decades of practice. The real solution is far simpler and far more powerful. 3 ordinary vitamins. Not exotic, not dangerous, not addictive. Just 3 nutrients that, when used wisely, can open your blood vessels, restore healthy flow, and give back what time has tried to take away. Strength, intimacy, dignity. Now, before I reveal them, I want to ask you something important. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel and turn on the bell, every week I sit here and bring you science-backed, practical steps you can actually use. And when you hit the like button, you do more than support me, you tell the algorithm that men's health after 60 matters. That your story deserves to be heard. That thousands of men in silence deserve to know they're not broken. Each like is not just a number, it's a lifeline, so pause with me for a moment. Tap subscribe, tap like, leave a comment if you wish. Because this is not just a video, it's a community. A brotherhood of men refusing to give up on themselves, refusing to believe that age must equal decline. And as we begin this journey, I want to bless you with this thought. No matter your age, no matter how many mornings have felt heavy, you are not finished. Your body is waiting for the right keys to unlock its strength again. And tonight, we'll turn the first of those keys. Let's begin with the most underestimated vitamin of all, not just for bones, not just for sunshine, but for testosterone, nitric oxide, and blood flow itself. Vitamin D. When most men hear the words vitamin D, they think of bones. Doctors tell you it keeps your skeleton strong, prevents fractures, protects your balance, and that's true. But in my years of sitting face to face with men in their 60s and 70s, I've come to see vitamin D in a completely different light. To me, it isn't just a bone vitamin, it's the sunshine hormone. And it may be the single most underestimated key to blood flow, desire, and the kind of intimacy that keeps a man feeling alive. Let me explain why. Inside your body, every blood vessel is lined with a delicate layer of cells called the endothelium. Think of it like the inner skin of your arteries, flexible, smooth, designed to expand and allow blood to surge where it's needed. Vitamin D is one of the master switches that keeps this lining healthy. Without it, the vessels stiffen. They lose their ability to relax. Circulation slows down. And when circulation slows, everything suffers: your energy, your confidence, and yes, your erections. Now here's where most men are shocked. Low vitamin D doesn't just starve your blood flow. It also drags your testosterone down with it. Study after study has shown that men deficient in vitamin D are more likely to feel tired, heavy, flat in mood, and far less interested in intimacy. The very spark that makes you lean toward your wife or partner at night can quietly fade away, not because you've changed, but because your body is missing the sunshine it once thrived on. I remember a patient vividly. Harold, a retired firefighter, 67 years old. He came into my office after years of frustration. He had tried the pills, the gadgets, even considered surgery, but nothing gave him back the natural confidence he wanted. We ran his labs, and his vitamin D level was shockingly low, barely above 15 ng/ml. I told him, Harold, this isn't just about your bones. This is about your blood vessels and your manhood. We started him on a safe daily supplement, slowly building his blood levels back up. Within months, Harold returned with a smile that lit up my office. He told me, Doc, I feel like myself again. I'm stronger in the bedroom, yes, but I'm also happier. I walk further. As I laugh more, it's like someone turned the lights back on. That, gentlemen, is the quiet power of vitamin D. Scientifically, here's what was happening in Harold's body and could happen in yours. Vitamin D boosts nitric oxide, the molecule your body depends on to relax and open blood vessels. Without nitric oxide, your vessels stay constricted. Your mind may be ready for intimacy, but your body simply cannot follow. By restoring vitamin D, Harold gave his vessels permission to open again, to allow blood to rush where it was meant to go. And this isn't just about intimacy. Stronger circulation means a healthier heart, sharper memory, more stamina for the walks, the golf course, even playing with your grandkids. It's a domino effect. Improve the vessels, improve the man. Now let's talk practical. For most men, aiming for blood levels between 40 and 60 ng/ml is ideal. That usually means a safe daily dose of 2,000 to 4,000 EU, though every man should confirm with his physician and get his levels checked before starting. Sunlight is helpful, but after 60, your skin doesn't produce vitamin D from sunlight as efficiently as it once did. A supplement is often not just helpful, but necessary. And here's the good news, the payoff is worth it. Men who restore their vitamin D don't just report stronger erections. They report brighter moods, deeper sleep, lighter steps, and a return of that spark they thought had slipped away forever. So, gentlemen, if vitamin D is the sunshine that keeps your hose flexible, the next vitamin I want to share with you is the plumber, the one that actually clears the pipes when they've become narrowed and clogged. Without it, blood struggles to flow no matter how open the vessels should be. Let's move to the second nutrient, one of my favorites to talk about because I've watched it transform so many lives. Vitamin B3 niacin, the vessel unclogger. If vitamin D is the sunshine that softens and prepares your vessels, then vitamin B3, also called niacin, is the plumber. Imagine your arteries as old pipes in a house. Over the years, sediment builds up, the flow slows down, and no matter how much water you try to push through, the channel just isn't clear. What you need isn't more pressure, you need the clog removed. That's exactly what niacin can do inside the human body. Niacin has a unique ability to open the smallest blood vessels in your system. When it enters your body, it triggers what many men notice as a gentle warmth or flush across their skin. Some find it surprising, even uncomfortable at first, but here's the truth. That flush is blood rushing into tiny vessels that may have been starved for years. It's not danger, it's flow returning to places that need it most. One of my patients, Richard, a former engineer in his late 60s, understood this better than most. Engineers love systems, and he had carefully managed his diet and exercise for decades. But despite his discipline, intimacy remained weak and his confidence was quietly eroding. His cholesterol was creeping upward, his arteries stiffening, and he was running out of ideas. We introduced niacin carefully, beginning with a modest dose. Within weeks, Richard began to notice something remarkable. His lab results improved. Yes, lower LDL, higher HDL, but more than that, he described it as though the lights came back on. He told me, Doctor, for the first time in years, I feel blood moving where it's supposed to move. I feel alive again. Scientifically, niacin works on two levels. First, it dilates capillaries and arterioles, those tiny vessels most responsible for directing blood into sensitive tissues, including the penis. That's why the flush is such a powerful sign. Second, niacin balances cholesterol, lowering the harmful LDL particles that clog vessels while raising HDL, the protective type that acts like a cleaner, sweeping debris out of your arteries. This dual action doesn't just give you better performance tonight, it protects your heart, your brain, and your manhood for years to come. But let me caution you here. Niacin is powerful, and like any tool, it must be used wisely. Typical therapeutic doses range from 500 to 1,000 mg daily, but these higher amounts should always be guided by a physician, especially if you're already taking medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart disease. Starting low and building gradually is often the safest path. And if you feel that familiar flush, don't fear it. Reframe it as a reminder that your vessels are opening, your circulation is waking up, and life is stirring again inside you. Gentlemen, with vitamin D, we soften the hose. With niacin, we've flushed the pipes and cleared the path. But circulation faces another silent enemy, not cholesterol this time, but calcium. The very mineral you've been told to trust for strong bones can quietly betray you by hardening inside your arteries, turning flexible vessels into rigid tubes. Unless it's guided back to the right place, calcium can choke off the very flow we're fighting to restore. That's why the next vitamin is so critical, the traffic cop that keeps calcium in your bones where it belongs instead of clogging your arteries. Let's talk about vitamin K2. If vitamin D is the sunshine and niacin is the plumber, then vitamin K2 is the traffic cop directing traffic where it belongs. And the traffic we're talking about is calcium. Now, calcium is a double-edged sword. When it goes into your bones, it's a blessing. It keeps them strong, prevents fractures, and preserves independence. But when calcium drifts into your arteries, it becomes a curse. It hardens the vessel walls, narrows the passageways, and slowly suffocates the very blood flow that fuels your heart, your brain, and your manhood. I'll never forget a patient named George, a gentle man of 70, married for over 50 years. He came to me with tears in his eyes, confessing that his closeness with his wife had faded, not because love had faded, but because his body simply wouldn't follow through. His stress tests showed his heart straining more than it should. A CT scan revealed calcium building up in his arteries, like concrete inside a once flexible pipe. He felt defeated, as though life had stolen the joy of holding his wife's hand, laughing together, sharing intimacy. We introduced vitamin K2 into his regimen. Over the months that followed, his lab numbers improved, but more importantly, his hope returned. He told me one day, "Doctor, I feel like a door has opened again, not just in my body, but in my marriage." That, gentlemen, is the quiet yet profound role of K2. Here's the science. Vitamin K2 activates proteins that sweep calcium out of your arteries and lock it safely into your bones and teeth. Without it, calcium wanders freely and stiffens the very vessels you need supple for arousal. With it, your vessels stay flexible, able to expand when blood surges, which means firmer, more reliable erections. It also eases strain on the heart and lowers stroke risk. In other words, vitamin K2 doesn't just add years to your life, it adds life to your years. The challenge is that most diets in the West provide almost none of it, unless you eat fermented soybeans called natto every single day. That's why I often recommend supplementation, specifically the MK7 form of K2, in doses of 100 to 200 micrograms daily. It works best when paired with vitamin D, the sunshine hormone that opens vessels, while K2 keeps them clean. Together, they form a partnership that can restore circulation many men thought was gone for good. So now we've softened the vessels with D, flushed them with niacin, and kept them clean with K2. But I know what many of you are thinking right now because I read your letters and your comments every week. You ask, "Doctor, I've already cut back on sugar. Why am I still struggling?" Or, "Isn't vitamin E supposed to help more than these?" Or even I'm in my 70s, is it too late for me? Those questions deserve honest answers. And that's exactly what we'll explore next in our audience interaction, your voices, your doubts, and my responses. Because this podcast isn't just me talking at you, it's a conversation with you. Gentlemen, this podcast isn't a lecture hall, it's a conversation. I read your letters, I read your comments, and sometimes what you write makes me smile, sometimes it makes me think, and sometimes it challenges me. Tonight, I've chosen 8 questions that speak not only to your struggles but also to your doubts. Let's dive in. Question 1, Doctor, I quit alcohol months ago, but I'm still weak. Why? First of all, congratulations. Giving up whiskey and beer is no small feat, but removing poison doesn't automatically restore strength. Your vessels still need repair crews. That's where vitamins D, B3, and K2 step in. They aren't quick fixes, but steady builders. Think of it like draining dirty oil from an engine, necessary, but unless you refill with fuel, the engine won't roar again. Question 2. I heard vitamin E is the real secret. Shouldn't I take that instead? Vitamin E is useful, yes, but it's not the miracle many imagine. It's a supporting actor, not the leading man. The true stars of circulation are D, B3, and K2. Vitamin E can help, but don't let neighborly myths replace medical science. Question 3. I'm 72. Be honest, is it too late for me? If you can type this question into a comment box, it is not too late. I've walked this road with men in their late 70s and 80s who found their spark again. It takes patience, but the body is resilient. The only thing too late is never starting. Question 4. I exercise 5 days a week, but I still can't perform. What's going on? Discipline is admirable, but let's be honest, you can't out-squat hardened arteries. Exercise is the car, but the road underneath is cracked. Vitamins are the road crew, combine them, and you'll see your workouts finally translate into intimacy and strength. Question 5. I tried niacin once and felt the flush. It scared me. Is that dangerous? That famous flush, that's not danger, that's blood rushing back to places it hasn't visited in years. Reframe it. Start low, go slow, and under guidance. Most men learn to welcome it as the body saying, I'm awake again. Question 6. My doctor says my calcium score is high. Can vitamins really help that? Yes, this is where K2 shines. It tells calcium, get out of the arteries, go home to the bones. It won't erase decades overnight, but over time it can protect your heart, your vessels, and your manhood. Question 7, Doctor, are these podcasts even real? Sometimes it feels like you're just telling stories. A fair point. Yes, I tell stories because behind every lab result is a man, a wife, a marriage, a life. Science without story is cold. Story without science is empty. Here, I try to give you both. Take what resonates, question what doesn't, and may you still leave with hope. Question 8. This all sounds too good to be true. If it worked, wouldn't every doctor be shouting about it? You're right to be cautious. Skepticism is healthy. Not every doctor talks about this because the medical world moves slowly, and vitamins don't make headlines like surgery or prescriptions do. But I've seen enough men benefit to keep speaking. If you believe, test it for yourself. If you doubt, at least you've lost nothing but a few minutes of listening. Either way, may you walk away with more curiosity, not less. Gentlemen, I know many more of you have questions about zinc. The testosterone therapy, even whether oysters really live up to their reputation. Time won't allow me to cover everything tonight, but keep writing, keep asking. I will return to your voices in future episodes, and if you need more personal guidance, reach out to me directly. This isn't just a show, it's a community, and I bless every man listening. May your questions lead you to strength, not despair. Now, let's bring it all together. Because the real power lies not in one vitamin, not in one answer, but in the blueprint of how these pieces fit together. Gentlemen, let's zoom out for a moment. You've heard about vitamin D, the sunshine hormone that softens the vessels and primes them for flow. You've heard about niacin, the plumber that clears the pipes and lets blood move freely again. And you've met vitamin K2, the traffic cop that tells calcium to stay in the bones and out of your arteries. Individually, each one makes a difference. But together they form a blueprint, a system that doesn't just fix one leak, but rebuilds the entire plumbing of your body. Think of it like renovating an old house. First, you soften the wood so it doesn't crack, then you flush the pipes so water can move, and finally, you reinforce the structure so it won't collapse again. That's what these 3 vitamins do for your vessels, your intimacy, and your dignity. I once worked with a retired school principal named Martin. He had tried everything, prescriptions, gadgets, even toyed with the idea of surgery. Nothing gave him back what he truly wanted: natural confidence. Step by step, we rebuilt his foundation: vitamin D to unlock, niacin to flush, K2 to guard. It didn't happen overnight, but months later he told me, "Doctor, I no longer dread intimacy. I look forward to it. I feel alive again." That, gentlemen, is not just medicine, that is life returning. Now, here's the part I need you to hear. This blueprint only works if you use it. Knowledge without action is just trivia, so check your levels, talk with your physician, bring these nutrients into your daily routine, and most importantly, give your body time. The change may be quiet at first, but one day you'll notice. You're walking easier, sleeping deeper, smiling more, and holding the hand of the woman you love with confidence you thought was gone. And before we close, let me ask one last thing. If this podcast gave you clarity, tap that like button. Not because I need applause, but because every like tells the algorithm that men's health after 60 matters, that your story deserves to be heard. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on the bell. That way you'll never miss the next blueprint, the next tool, the next lifeline we share here. Leave your questions in the comments. Type 1 if you're ready to take action. Type 0 if you're still on the fence. I read everyone, and who knows, maybe your question will be the voice I answer in our next session. Gentlemen, you are not powerless, you are not broken. With patience, courage, and the right tools, you can rebuild blood flow, restore intimacy, and reclaim your dignity. So here's my blessing to you tonight. May your vessels stay open, may your heart stay strong, and may your best years, the ones filled with laughter, closeness, and confidence, still be ahead of you.